see back in the lab. We found out that it wasn't like they told us in Bombardier School. In Bombardier School, if you go out to bomb at night, they have a light on the shack. Synchronize on that light and drop a bomb on it. Well, we could not fly in the daytime to our target because there were too many Japanese planes. We just couldn't stand it. When our group first got over there, they sent 6 planes over Bougainville and they lost 3 the first afternoon. So it was decided that we would always fly at night, single ship. And if you can imagine a bowling alley, the way this Guadalcanal area is set up, Solomon Island, it's a long chain of islands. One end of the bowling alley is Guadalcanal, and the other end of the bowling alley is Bougainville. Bougainville is a huge island compared to Guadalcanal. Bougainville was under German domination. The rest of the Solomon Islands was governed by the British.
A little bit louder if you can.
All right. Well, what we would do, we would take off at about 6 o'clock at night, fly up single ship, try to find our way to Bougainville, and then when we would go into bomb, we had several land points we could use. We learned where the beaches were and what the angle of the beach was. If we could hit a beach at a certain angle, then start a stopwatch, the navigator would be sitting back there with me, and I have my toggle switch, and when he'd say let it go, let it go. One time, we went up there, and somebody from a plane ahead of us had come in and set a fire. Well, then it was okay. We used the bomb sight, and we put the bombs right where we were supposed to put them. We lived in tents. We ate dehydrated food. We swam in a river. That was our recreation. But we didn't know, nobody told us what was going on. I got there on the 1st of May. On the 18th of April, Admiral Yamamoto was shot down over Bougainville by a fellow named Lanfear, or his wingman, nobody knows for sure. But then one of the big flaks was that Lanfear was sort of a publicity hound. And he gave an interview to a newspaper man in Noumea, published it. And Nimitz wanted a court-martial because this fact that they were there waiting for Yamamoto meant that we were able to crack the Japanese code. Of course, they didn't tell us about that, but they did say that somebody big had been shot down. That's as far as it went. Well then, that last bombing mission, we took off as usual about 5:30, 6 o'clock. We flew up to Bougainville, dropped our 12 bombs very successfully that night because at Bougainville they had finally installed radar searchlights. They only had one radar control, but they had several others. And we found that when we started, we were the first ship over the target. When we started down, they turned the searchlight on. And I had the sight running on, I wasn't sure whether I could use it or not. But when they turned the light on, instead of the light coming this way, it swept across and then erected. And I could see the hangars, I could see the revetments, I could see everything. So I just put the bombs about 150 yards past the lights. And I'll tell you one thing, it's a great sensation to be up in the front of one of those airplanes when they turn all the lights on you. You can sit there and you can see things that you didn't even know were in the airplane. I can remember my co-pilot telling me, he said, Jesus, he said, I don't know, he said, I'm trying to hide, I've got an armored seat, but I'm sure they can see me. Well, anyway, then our problems began. As we left Bougainville, we got into a severe tropical storm. We only cruised in those in that area at 10,000 feet. And that was just in the right place to hit these big cumulonimbus stuff. And it was a semi-permanent front that used to lay across there. And what happened? Nobody knows for sure, but a navigator had changed his octave. When you navigate from an airplane at night, it's not like navigating from a sailboat with a sextant. With a sextant, you look at the sun or the star, and you see a horizon. You see it. But an airplane at night, you can't see the horizon. So you have a little bubble. And what you do when you navigate, you look at the star, and you put the star in this little bubble. And you have a little ratchet that you turn here, and you take the star out, you put it back in. Take it out, you put it back in. And every time you put it back in, you punch. Then when you finish, open this thing up, you've got a paper disc, and it's got a lot of little red marks on it. And you put those red marks in the center, and then you read a number of the octave. Then you go to your tables, and you got it. If you got the right number. Anyway, he had changed. We had used an A10, and he decided he wanted to use an A12, which was a sort of twisty thing. So somehow, something happened, and he couldn't get the bubble. He never got it. So we tried using radio. Didn't work. During all this time, he began to get sicker and sicker. He was a fellow who had malaria as a boy, and he'd had a malaria attack on Guadalcanal. And he had this attack there, and he got so sick that I took him down. Remember the B-24, I took him down where the butt was and cracked one of the Bombay doors so he could heave out there. And I gave him my flying suit, because his flying suit was all ruined. Well, we kept hoping that we could line ourselves up on something, but we couldn't. Couldn't see the water, we couldn't see anything. We went up to 15,000 feet, we couldn't get a star. So we came back down to 10,000 feet, started sending out, transmitting on 500 kilocycles, was the international distress signal, which normally, if Guadalcanal could hear us, they would pick it up, and they would come back on another channel and vector us back. They didn't hear us. The cruiser Helena was being sunk this same night, about 60 miles, and we mounted up. And when we decided, when it looked like we were going to go in, I was sitting in the co-pilot's seat, because he also had gotten sick, and he was laying down on the flight deck. So when the first engine quit, the pilot said, well, we're going to go in, and we don't have any choice. But we found an island on the radar. So we try to go in at the island, near the island. So I hope that you never have to face the horror of sitting up at 10,000 feet and knowing that you're going to go down. I remember my pilot saying later on, he said, if I ever had it to do again, I would blow my brains out. Anyway, we started down. I got out of my seat. The co-pilot got in the seat. The navigator went back to the number 6 bulkhead. Now the B-24 is a funny airplane in a way. It's built on a single frame. It has one main spar, not like the 17. The 17 has 4 main spars. It's a much stronger, much more rigid airplane. This main spar that you walk on when you go back to the rear, that's what holds that airplane together. So we go back in the back, and as you come out of the Bombay, the number 6 bulkhead, there's a door there, and you come around. You have to go around the ball turret. The ball turret is suspended. You go around the ball turret to get back to the waist. Well, Brown, his name was Brown too, a navigator. He went around the ball turret and went over in the corner. I got next to the ball turret in this corner with my back to the number 6 bulkhead. But Brown couldn't swim. He was the only man on the crew that couldn't swim. And in one of the books that tells about this thing, it names me as saying I was the one that was supposed to get him out. I could swim. Well, we sat there, all the lights on and everything like that. We get ready to hit. The pilot turns on the lights, but it's raining and he can't see the water. So when we hit, I have no memory at all of hitting. I never heard it, I never felt it, nothing. The only thing I can remember is floating up against the roof of the airplane. It was dark. And the plane was submerged, but level. We had one private flying our airplane. He was our armorer gunner who was 2 days late getting back to San Francisco. And he had been demoted, buck private. He was flying out there for $70 a month. But anyway, he was the oldest man on the crew. He came in and pulled me out. He pulled me out, I said, well, let me go, I'm all right. And I tried to pull the Mae West and I couldn't do it. So they grabbed me again. And they were going in the plane and going in the plane and trying to find Brown. But finally, they swam up against the roof of the plane where the ball turret should have been, and it was gone. So the only thing that we could imagine is that when the plane hit the water, the ball turret is just like an apple on a stick. It just kept right on going. What happened to me, to get around the ball turret, you had the controls there, and they had sheathed them in light aluminum. Well, my head hit that aluminum, and my ear was down about here, and since I had given him my flight suit, all I had on was a t-shirt and a pair of cadet shorts, and I got hit in the knee, elbow, both hands, and across the buttocks in such a way that it split the pants all the way across this way, horizontal. But anyway, we get into the rafts, and the old fellow that was a private, he was in charge of the first aid. He said, well, this guy's going to die. He says, let's give him some morphine anyway. So we carried morphine in our backpack, a little tube. So they opened the backpack up, got the morphine, they shoved it into my arm, but they forgot to take the cellophane off. So they took the cellophane off, put it in, and I was gone. The next morning when I woke up, I found ourselves in a big lagoon, probably 4 or 5 miles across. But we had land on our right-hand side, so we paddled the 2 rafts, 9 men, over to this bunch of brush and stuff. And we were very fortunate because the first opening that we saw, we went in, and there was a creek of fresh water. Now, we carried on the planes what they called an overwater kit, just like a footlocker. But we had cans of water, we had cans of tomato juice, we had, I think it was 40 sets of K rations. We had fishing lines and hooks and stuff like that. But finding this water was a godsend to us because we knew that we would run out of water sooner or later. Well, we found an oxygen tank floating in the water, which had busted loose from the airplane. And we took that over to the creek, filled it up with water. And then we started to work our way out every day further out towards open sea. I guess it was on the 6th day we were out completely in open sea. We had a beach, we had a little camp, we built a little lean-to, and these rafts